Hey, what's up guys? I'm Justin. It's been a little while since I've seen you all last. So, I just got over the flu. Some stuff is still lingering around, but regardless, we're here today to talk about my top 10 films of 2019. You guys gotta excuse me, I'm still a little stuffed up, so if I sound all doofy, that's why. There was a lot of good films in 2019, and there was way too many to make my top 10 list. So, I'm gonna be giving you some honorable mentions, just so you guys know the honorable mentions and the actual top 10 aren't really reviews of the films, just basically a list off and brief summary, so let's just get started. So for favorite films that made it into my honorable mentions category, we have the reboot of Child's Play, Brightburn, Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Like I said, if you're not a big Kevin Smith fan, you're not really going to be too into this film, let's just face it. Madness in the Method, a film by Jason Mewes, Knives Out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Booksmart. It looked really stupid to begin with, it looked like the girl version of Superbad, but I found so much more in this movie. If you guys haven't checked that out, go do it. Toy Story 4, another unexpected hit that pulled on my heartstrings. Crawl, Ready or Not, Avengers Endgame, Always Be My Maybe, the romantic comedy on Netflix starring Ali Wong, and a glorified, I wouldn't even say cameo, supporting role by Keanu Reeves. He is gold in that movie. Check that one out, guys. Bohemian Rhapsody, another fantastic movie that I just couldn't fit into my top 10 list, but it definitely deserves an honorable mention. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, The Dirt, the Motley Crue biopic, and another romantic comedy, The Long Shot, Charlize Theron, Seth Rogen. Very surprised by that movie. Yesterday, the Beatles-inspired movie, Dr. Sleep from Stephen King, and another Stephen King movie, In the Tall Grass, and of course, the last film on my honorable mentions list, Uncut Gems, the latest Adam Sandler movie. He is phenomenal in that film, guys. Alright, so my personal favorite top 10 films of 2019. I know this one's going to surprise you. Number 10 goes to Glass. A lot of people are hating on this movie, and I understand it might have not lived up to your expectations, but I thought it was an excellent film. They blended the tones perfectly from Unbreakable and Glass into a culmination that came out to be this movie. I mean, in the end, enhanced human beings just being known in the world was Samuel L. Jackson's character Elijah's goal since the beginning. And a lot of people were complaining about the final fight scene. I mean, this is a small, contained, low-budget film. What were you expecting? But for me, this film definitely hit the mark, and M. Night Shyamalan's films hold a special place in my heart just because they're always filmed in my area of PA, Philly, Bucks County, all the cities surrounding this area. Number 9, speaking of movies that filmed near me, Shazam! So this movie really changed how I feel about superhero films. There's a lot of cookie-cutter, cliche superhero movie stuff, but that's the whole point. It's supposed to be a generalization of all that. But what this movie gets is the fact that you don't need to be related to have a strong family. It also showed what it's like to be the best friend that's just living in the shadow of the other person. It just hit me in the feels on a lot of places, and I don't think I've seen anyone else enjoy being a superhero more than Zachary Levi. Number 8, fittingly enough, goes to Code 8, the film starring Stephen and Robbie Amell. I watched this again, and it just feels so different than all these other superhero movies out there, and just completely changes the game as far as the superhero genre goes. The tone, sci-fi elements, and the all-around crime drama feel really got me immersed in this world. And the fact that I kickstarted it just really made me hold this movie closer to my heart than others. Number 7 goes to Jojo Rabbit, the World War II satire directed by Taika Waititi and stars Taika Waititi, Rebel Wilson, Sam Rockwell, and Scarlett Johansson all playing Germans. I knew I was signing up for this right away. The movie had so many laughs, tons of heart. The child actors were really good in this movie, and it just has a great overall message. Number 6, Dolomite Is My Name. If you guys are wondering what this movie's about, let me just sum it up for you. Eddie Murphy plays a guy named Rudy Ray Moore, and he's a struggling comedian. He's not doing too well. But then he starts embodying this character named Dolomite, and it's a hit. So the character he does during his stand-up, Dolomite, is getting bigger and bigger, and he's huge with the African American community. So why not just make a movie about Dolomite? So back in the day, the 1975 movie Dolomite came out, and think of it as like The Room, where it was so ridiculously bad, but people loved it. This movie is basically like what James Franco did with The Disaster Artist. Eddie Murphy's doing this with Dolomite Is My Name. Eddie Murphy and the rest of the cast did an amazing job with this movie, and you know what? I'm really tempted to just go back and watch the original Dolomite movie, and the original Dolomite movie had ridiculously bad sequels too. Let me just read them off here. We have The Human Tornado, Shaolin Dolomite, The Return of Dolomite. I mean, I want to check all these movies out for myself. I love cheesy bad movies that just make everyone laugh. Number 5, John Wick Chapter 3. I'm convinced these are going to be more like James Bond movies now. There's going to be like 30 of them by the time Keanu Reeves is like 70 years old. I mean, it can happen. The stakes are bigger, the action scenes are crazier. I mean, we get an action sequence involving German shepherds and bad guys. I mean, what more can you ask for? I can sort of get where John Wick Chapter 4 is going to go from here, but either way, this franchise is awesome, badass. Keanu Reeves is a living legend. Number 4, Good Boys. I was really surprised that comedy film made it this high on my list, but it's very well deserved. Blending comedy, heart, relatable childhood struggles, and so much more. I hope these kids make more raunchy comedies when they get older. That trio is comedic gold. Now we're down to 3, my top 3 favorite movies of 2019. Number 3 goes to Peanut Butter Falcon. This movie just had such an impactful message for me personally. Quick summary is Shia LaBeouf plays a character who lost his brother, so he's struggling in life, wondering what his purpose is. And we have a guy with Down syndrome who wants to live his dream of becoming a world wrestling champion. And of course, these two characters cross paths and their chemistry is just so sweet. I have a lot of friends, some have Down syndrome, others are autistic, ADHD. Now I know those things aren't similar to Down syndrome, but at the same time, it's just knowing that they have some sort of illness that prevents them from doing things in life. And that's why Shia LaBeouf's character is so great in this film, because he's like, no. Whatever people say that you can't do because of your illness, don't listen to them. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make your dreams come true. Number 2, I'm sure you're wondering where this is gonna end up on my list, goes to Joker, the crime drama film inspired by comic book characters. This film came in on an angle that no one was expecting. It really shines a light on mental illnesses and how people process information or deal with stress that are just unstable. And I just hope it makes people a little bit more sensitive to the subject now and how impactful and powerful mental illness can be. It's a serious topic, and Joaquin Phoenix portrays his character perfectly. He plays a man who's broken, fed up with everything, and to the point where he just snaps. And now we're down to the top film for me of 2019, and that goes to none other than Fighting with My Family. I'm glad Florence Pugh's career is taking off after this movie because she deserves it. She's a great actress. She was in Midsommar after that, Midsommar, and she's gonna be in the new Black Widow movie coming out. This movie was a true underdog story, and I'm a sucker for those. Vince Vaughn, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Florence Pugh, of course, and Nick Frost were fantastic in this film. Great heart, fantastic story, wrestling nostalgia, tons of comedy, just blends so well together to make this my perfect choice for the top film of 2019. That about wraps it up for me. So what are your guys' lists for the top films of 2019? Any suggested movies that I didn't actually see or didn't make it onto my list? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.